everyone, and welcome to the 100th episode of Barbie Does Dating.
I can't believe it. We're here.
Fireworks.
Okay, I was laughing because last night I was asking Jill, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to do the 100th episode. She's like, isn't that great? And oh my gosh, Steve will be there. I was like, Steve's done 100 episodes, and every time still forgets he's on a podcast as soon as he leaves the room.
This is my first time here, I think. Thanks for having me.
We
This
love
is not
you.
on his IMDb.
What?
No.
I don't know.
I just give you crap about it because I think it's funny. I think it's funny
It
because
is funny.
he literally leaves and he never thinks about the podcast ever again.
Well, we don't need him to.
It's
Which
true.
is truthfully fine. He's just here for comedic relief. Anyways, I'm your host, Barbie Berg.
Yeah.
Still single, but that's okay.
But dating up a storm, I might add.
Dating.
Things are happening.
Things are
Our
happening.
group chat has been very, very fun and
Has
interesting.
been very entertaining, I will say.
And I hope you're going to tell some of those stories
I
here
will.
for 100th
Absolutely.
episode.
And our producer extraordinaire, Nicoletti,
Hello.
the man that makes all these episodes happen.
Just about all.
Pretty
Give him
much.
a round of
One
applause.
did I not?
This would not happen were it not for Nick.
It's so 100% true. Yes. Yes. And Kristen Sokol,
Hello.
Hi.
our dating coach that we
I'm
adore.
so honored to be here for episode 100.
It's very
It's-
exciting.
it's
It's
like-
very weird.
I've been like giddy about it all day.
Have you?
I was like almost like, should I go get some silly string that we should like spray all over the
Silly
room? And then I
string?
thought Nick would probably hate that. There's a lot of really
Not in
expensive
here.
things
He's
in
like,
here.
he's all, that's hilarious. Not in here.
Confetti
Not
cannon?
in here.
Also
No.
doesn't lend
Yeah.
Not
we can
enough
show
bang
pictures
for-
of confetti.
for
Pew,
audio. Yes.
pew.
I did bring a t-shirt cannon, but
Okay, good.
yeah,
He just has
At
that all
least
the time
that.
anyways.
Yes.
That's his daily
I
thing.
always have it.
And Steve Solberg is here again,
Yeah,
which
again.
we love. It's very exciting.
It is good to be here.
I'm just happy anytime Steve's here.
It's so fun. The
It
whole
is.
thing.
I got to drive here today.
He did.
I was and everything.
Did
How
you
do
guys ride
normally get
together?
Because we
here?
rode together.
Oh,
I usually
fun.
run.
Oh, okay.
My windshield
You
wiper
kept
flew off.
running.
Yeah, we're like not even out of the neighborhood, and he does the windshield wiper fluid, and it goes twice, and then one of them just goes meh, meh, and is like,
It's like just holding on by the
Oh, that's
the
funny.
metal part. I don't
That's
know.
really funny.
And Steve drives a really nice car, but like part of his like vent thing kind of broke when we first got in, and
Yeah,
then
like the,
Having a hard
I have
day.
a thing that holds my phone connected to the vent, and I put it on that, and it went click, and it,
And it just-
unclicked.
It lost it.
so it was like everything that we did. I was like, "Do you want me to drive?"
And I was
You
like,
know
it's
how to
going
impress a
good.
girl.
It's very good. Everything on it's running great,
It's great. It's fabulous.
Oh my
except for those
gosh.
things.
Oh my goodness. So we're here. It is the 100th episode. When did
That's
we
right.
do our first episode?
I can get the exact date that we released.
I'm
I don't
curious. Yeah,
remember.
like
And I think I was around for some of the really early ones.
were you? I think you
I
were
remember when
too.
you were talking about doing one.
She
Yeah.
was.
I
She-
do remember that.
There was.
And then
Yes.
and then I went to this creepy bookstore downtown and we recorded there.
Loved
That's
it.
what Jill and
Oh,
I were
that is
talking
cool.
about.
And I think that's where I met Steve Solberg for the first
I
time.
bet.
Probably.
Because
So-
that's what Jill and I were talking about. 'Cause she's like, "What's your favorite memory?" I'm like, "The murder room."
Yeah, the murder room.
I love the murder room.
It's like an,
Yeah.
an episode of SVU in there.
It really
but
was.
just no murder
Or
yet.
Criminal Minds.
Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
You know.
So the very first episode of Barbie Does Dating was released on September 11th, 2018.
Wow.
Wow. So it's been 7 years.
Yeah. Because we took like a while off during the pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
we
then
did.
Kristen's first episode was December 27th of that year.
Really?
Okay. Oh, like after Christmas?
Well, that's when we released it. You
Oh,
recorded
okay.
it
Yeah.
probably
I was going to
before
say, that
Christmas.
doesn't seem like me. I'm usually like, I don't even know what
You're
day
out.
it is. I don't
Oh,
last 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
It's like, I don't know.
Just
Monday.
a blur of cheese and chocolate.
Yes.
I
Or
seem
That
to
is
or
good.
recall
chocolate.
you being a lot more
Ooh.
nervous then.
I probably was.
Okay.
I've
You're
grown
way
a lot.
more relaxed now.
Yes, I've grown a lot in the last 7 years, I guess. I don't think I had ever done, you know, what's funny is I had done lots of stuff in the booth at KSL, but never done a podcast. And that the podcast made me
murder room?
way
No.
more nervous. I think just because it's long form and
Yeah.
you're like, what am I going to talk about for
Yeah.
that long?
Oh, because you do live stuff. You're always on those
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, but it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is like, can I keep doing it for a whole hour? Answer is yes.
Yes, you can.
An indefinite amount of time.
I love it. Well, does anyone else have any good memories they want to share? Steve, I know, thinks about it all the time.
That's all I think about.
He's all, have I been on the show before?
I'm up at night thinking about it.
I think that we've only had 3 recording locations. Here, the murder room, and we did some at your house.
We did do some at my house, huh?
Yeah.
We try to stay consistent with
Yeah.
where we're at.
We were
Makes
in
it a
your
little
front
easier.
room.
I think I remember
That's
recording one in
right.
the front room.
Yeah. I
I
forget
have
that
a
people
memory of that.
have come to my little rental
Hmm
that I will never leave, ever.
It's such a great place.
Ever.
Well, we have a little format today. Nick has
Yes.
Oh, I don't know about
leaded
that.
us through here, and I'm prepared to talk.
Good, because I'm not organized. I know you're shocked.
Well, I asked everybody if they had a favorite memory from recording, either while recording or off while recording wasn't happening. And I'm curious what everybody had as their favorite memory.
I do. I have 2.
Tell me.
Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I hate that this is so recent. Actually, they're both kind of recent.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know if I will ever get over Steve in the massage chair.
Oh my gosh.
And the
so
visuals and the
nice.
audios. And I just didn't think it would be as funny on the audios, but I listened to it back and it was really funny. But I
It's
don't know
so
if it's
funny.
because I have the mental
You
picture.
maybe can picture, yeah.
I hope everybody else can. I'll
Other
never
people
get
are
over it.
like,
It's
"That's
like,
gross."
I'll be driving down the road and I'll just burst out laughing, and Steve will be like, my husband Steve will be like, "What's so funny?" And I'm like trying to explain it to
Steve
him.
in a massage chair.
It was so good. And just what's the word when you impersonation of Stephen Hawking?
Oh, it was
Dead
so funny.
on.
Oh.
It was so funny.
Dead on.
Poor guy.
It was so funny.
Or not. I don't know. He's
And
on
I
the-
love him kind of like picturing him on a date, and like, I don't know. It was very inappropriate.
It was
You
great.
shouldn't have done it.
Stephen Hawking on a date.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done it. But I do think about it sometimes and laugh. And then the other thing, and I'm sorry that Steve and Barbie weren't here, but when you listen to the episode where we did the one and only Game King,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not even aware that we were recording it. We were so into these games, and
Yeah.
they were so wild, and so the discovery was so fun that
It was a fun
just,
episode to listen to.
Was it?
Yeah.
It wasn't just obnoxious. I was
No.
afraid it would be obnoxious.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, I get a lot of feedback from clients that I'm working with who listen to the show and
Mhm.
listen to that episode, bought some of the games,
Really?
are using the games on dates, and say they're a game changer.
No way.
Yes, more than a handful have the
fun.
games that we've played.
They were really fun.
fantastic.
It broke down walls very quickly.
Yeah.
Yes, and in a get to know you scenario, super
Mm.
handy. Yeah, so I guess that was my other
Yeah.
fave.
Steve, do you have
Awesome.
any memories of this podcast? I'm sorry. I'm giving such a hard time. Not good or bad, just any?
I
Do you
mean, that makes it
remember being
nice.
here?
If I listen back to him, it's
It's like
all
the
new.
first time.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, who was it you were telling? Because you never listened to the podcast, and it was a couple months ago. Was it Jill that you were listening to one of our podcasts, and you were like, "It's actually really funny," and I'm like, "Yeah, we've been doing it for like 8 years."
Actually, really funny.
yeah, that's embarrassing.
Sometimes I think, oh, it's just okay, and then I listen to it back, it's actually really good,
No, it's
and
very
it's really
entertaining.
funny.
That is great.
I know I'm giving you crap about it, but it's one of my favorite things that Steve legitimately just doesn't remember.
I don't know where I got that ability to just like experience life and then delete it. And then it's like, oh, that was gone.
It's all brand new.
I
It's
don't
too
know.
much kombucha.
It's too much of the booch. Favorite memory, man. Because I thought about that for a while, because I have a few things in terms of like, because there was a few episodes that like stood out to me in terms of like little funny, stupid things. And I think one of them was when we learned those words.
Yeah.
Cuffing was a word that we
Oh,
didn't know.
yeah.
And we used
Mhm.
that a lot that episode. And I remember laughing about that quite a bit.
Yeah. I agree.
Cuffing
Now it just made
season.
me think of the Moissanite. That was one of my favorites.
Moissanite.
Do you remember that episode?
I remember talking about moissanite.
And you whispered it a lot.
Moissanite. Oh, it's so gross. Or it's awesome.
We We should come up with a vocabulary list of words,
You should.
like dating vocabulary and our own terms that we coin, such as Southern Buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
Southern Buddy is now my favorite way to describe it.
I hate it, but it is pretty funny. Like somebody said that again the other day at our house, and I was like, "Oh, don't say that." But then I laugh about it still. So.
Because it's so funny. Because it was
is
so
quite
off
funny.
the cuff, too. Like, you didn't plan it. It was just...
It was like an attempt to make something not as explicit, and I think somehow made it more explicit.
But mission accomplished.
Yeah.
'Cause it also
Maybe
softened.
not more, just funnier,
softened-
explicit.
It also softened the blow.
Yeah. There you go.
Let's go with that.
Nick, what about you?
Favorite memory from recording. I think it was probably the episode where we had like 5 or 6 people in here when we were going over your dating profile.
Oh, yeah. That
There
was fun.
it was really fun to have like a whole group of people here
Yeah.
and a lot of energy. Maybe it wasn't so fun for everybody else, but I just had a really good time when everybody was just kind of
forgotten
hanging
about
out
that.
and having a good time.
Yeah. That was a good time.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was productive or helpful.
Yeah.
Probably really annoying to Barbie, but
No, I loved it.
okay.
You know me. I like chaos. I'm like, bring it on.
Well, it was chaos directed at your dating profile. So
I love it.
no, that was I liked having a whole bunch of people here.
No, that was a good time.
And I like what Steve said too. The ones where we had a lot of fun with the words
Those are always
were
fun.
just fun.
I do enjoy bringing up the new random terminology and everybody's like, what? Let me
Yeah,
tell
we
you.
don't know about it.
Yeah.
We need to get an intern to like keep track of all these things.
We really
for us,
do.
right?
Yeah. Who would
And
like to come and do that for free?
Wouldn't it
Yeah.
be great if we had like? Don't you love like sometimes mid-season they'll do like callbacks from TV shows from like sitcoms. They'll do callbacks from previous seasons.
Oh, yeah.
and then the clip comes back.
I thought about that. I was like, oh, if I'd thought about this more, I would have gone and like listened to episodes and done little clips. I'm not that organized. I don't do that.
I don't
what a
think
fun
even,
idea.
Even Nick's not that
I
organized.
don't have
That's
the kind
why
of time
we
to do
need
that.
an intern.
That's true.
Interns.
We're taking
apply here.
applications.
Taking applications for zero compensation.
Absolutely nothing.
Did you give yours? Your favorite?
Nope, she didn't.
I mean, honestly, just the murder room in general. I was re-listening to I think it was the very first episode. It was like a year or two ago. But it was just kind of chaotic. And Steve, I love you. You're just kind of chaotic. And at one point you broke the lamp that was in the room.
Oh no.
And I remember it happening because we're in this room.
Well, he
It's so
bumped it with his
hard.
arm.
He bumped it with his arm.
I broke a thing.
I don't know if you actually broke it. Maybe you burned yourself or something. You did something with this lamp, though. And just thinking back to this room that was just covered in material on the walls and really poorly
Plastic.
lit. And
It was fabric on the wall.
Yeah,
It
fabric.
was just like a muslin that was hanging.
yeah. And it was just fun.
the
I don't
bodies
know.
were behind the muslin.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what that word is.
It's like a gauze.
It's like a
gauze
linen
First time
fabric.
I've heard that word. And a
Material.
part of me was like, that doesn't sound, I don't think you can say that.
You gonna bleep that out?
Oh my gosh. Okay. What was your other question, Nick?
All right. So, most productive piece of advice you've received from the show, either something to do or something to stop doing.
Don't start with me. Kristen, what about you?
Okay, so I don't know if I have any do or stop doing since I'm usually saying the
Yeah, I was
do's or
gonna
not,
say
the
she's
not
not
doing.
the one dating.
But I'll tell you what the takeaway for me is the perspective I get. Not, I mean, from you guys, especially Barbie, but Nick too, and also Steve, like new perspectives that I haven't considered. Sometimes I think, I'm in this vacuum, and I think I'm got all the perspective and I don't. So I love the TikTok trends and I am aware of most of the words, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Like there's some things that despite really trying to be tuned into the topic that I miss and they seem to surface in here, which is really great. Because then things that I learn in here, I find myself talking about in session with clients like the very next week or sometimes even the very next day. So I get a lot of perspectives. Another takeaway for me is just some of the offline shenanigans that we get up to. And Barbie sends pictures or stories and sometimes racy ones that are like, wow, did that really just happen to you?
Our group chat is very entertaining, I will admit.
And most of it makes it onto,
Most of it does, yeah.
but not all.
Yeah.
Not all. So that's really fun to just sort of have that banter. Sometimes I'll be laughing again and Steve's like, what's funny? Like we monitor each other constantly,
Yeah.
obviously. And so I'm like,
What's funny?
How
Nick
come
was
laugh?
saying, or Steve was saying, or Barbie was saying. The other thing that I have really taken away is that there are people who are listening to this. Sometimes I feel like we just get together and we have this conversation and I don't do anything with it after that. Nick does it. So,
Yeah.
but people from coast to coast are listening to it because I hear back from them, and it just boggles my mind that this actually goes somewhere.
Oh, me too.
It never ceases to amaze me. In fact, some people keep a file of notes. Like I reached out, put a little APB out, and said, "What are your top moments? What are some of your favorite things?" And
Yeah.
response I get, "Oh, I have a whole file. Let me copy paste some things that I've learned." So
Wow.
I have some of those things to share a little later.
That's so smart.
I love that.
Yeah.
To
That's
keep a
really
file
sweet.
of it. Yeah.
Also takeaways. Nick is really good at sending things like of professional. I mean, you both are. That guy never does it, but
No, Nick is the key there.
But anyway, Nick sent a podcast with Brian Willoughby,
Oh, yeah.
and it is 1 hour and 59-minute long. You think our podcasts are long?
Mhm.
That thing was fascinating. And I have a whole file of notes that I've taken from that I'm going to turn into other topics and, think about a little bit more. And so anyway, just like being plugged in, like from a professional standpoint, this has been really
Mhm.
influential on me, even though I'm dispensing advice.
I
I'm
love
also
that.
gaining a lot. Yeah.
Steve, what about you? What are your most productive piece of advice? You said you had something.
Yeah. And it's sort of a couple of things, I think, because oftentimes I don't have stuff change in the moment. It seems to be rare that my mind changes in the moment that I hear a thing. And so sometimes we'll talk about something on the podcast and I'll be like, well, I don't know. And then 2 to 3 days go by and I'm like, yeah, actually that is a thing.
Mhm.
And I think allowing myself to have a couple days to mull over something has been helpful, and it's kind of played into. I actually had Kristen as a dating coach for we went through sort of the curriculum that you
Mhm.
have, and one of the aspects that we talked about was that there's sort of stages of dating, and I think allowing myself to just be in a certain stage rather than forcing things. I think I have a tendency to either look forward or backwards and not live in the
Where you are.
right now.
Yeah.
That is something that we've talked about on the podcast more than once. And I think it has helped me actually do that because I don't know, for me, it's a challenging thing to do. It might not sound that exciting as a piece of advice or whatever, but for me, it's been helpful because it's something that I haven't really done for, I don't know, probably since I was younger. I think
Yeah.
when you're younger, it's easier to live in the moment because you've had so few moments.
Yeah.
That's well put. That's true.
And so when you're older, it's like you tend to look forward and backwards, I think.
Yeah.
So mine was back, I think it was episode 8 or 9. I can't remember which one it was, but a early on guest, Sean Rapier, we had on, and the episode was focusing on single amnesia.
Oh, yeah. I
remember that
remember
one?
that.
Single amnesia was introduced. I've had a lot of things introduced to
Mhm.
me, but that one was, in essence, a good reminder to remember what it's like to be single,
Mhm.
but also to remember that there are other perspectives outside of your own that need to be considered. And I think when a married person comes into this situation, it's easy for you to come out with prescribing all sorts of great ideas. And then you're like missing the boat a lot of the times because you have single amnesia.
Yeah.
And so that would help me kind of rethink and be more open-minded to different things. So
I like that.
anyway.
I like that. I honestly think the most productive piece of advice is something Kristen actually said about your dating profile, because she's very good about making sure people remember, like, don't put your deal breakers. Don't put these negative things. Because she's like, no one cares what you don't want. And that's one of my favorite things. Nobody cares what you don't want. Nope. Stop it.
Least of all you.
Yeah. Seriously. Like, that's all you're focusing on.
Talk
So
about what you don't want.
I have to really not, I mean, and I'm a pretty positive person. I know it's hard to tell. I'm not very happy or anything. So, but yeah,
But
just
it's
remembering
really
that.
easy to turn that way.
Yeah.
And it feels like this is what I should be doing.
Yep.
And it's not very like encouraging of a conversation.
It's not. It just is like, oh, okay, well, let's see why I am someone that's not going to connect with this person rather than seeing what you do have in common or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of my favorite things to tell people if they're like talking to me about their profile. It's like, stop putting things you don't want.
Mhm.
Stop it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not, there's times and places for that. But
Sure.
on your profile as your hello is not a very good hello.
This is not it. Yeah. Swipe no if blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm swiping no matter what.
Yeah.
Like,
Sounds like you got a plan for me, and
That's-
it's not to be here.
it is not to be here.
Can
Thanks,
you imagine
Angry.
like meeting somebody in real life, like in the produce section, and you strike up a conversation and just take them around and just show them all the fruits and vegetables that you hate?
Yes.
I
This
won't
sounds like
eat
a good
this.
sketch. Maybe Barbie Does Dating should do sketches.
Actually, we should
Could
do
be
little
pretty
things
funny.
on TikTok
We
or
so
videos
should.
of like, yeah, things you shouldn't do. Here's what it's like on talking to people.
We so should. Like some role play.
Actually,
Just-
that's a really
you
funny
show
idea.
up at the grocery store and
Yeah.
they're like, you know what I hate? Oh, gosh.
Like play it out in real life, what it would look like.
I love that. I love that
This
idea.
is such a good idea.
If you think that I like this, just get out of my face. And you're like, you walked up to me. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh. All right, Nick, what was your last idea for us to talk about?
Well, how has this podcast changed you as a person? I mean, there's a lot of different ways it could qualify, but
I think we should hear from the person that I think has changed the most from it, which is Steve.
it's like, what?
Right.
I'm so sorry.
I have changed the most.
What's it like under the bus?
He knows I'm not saying it to be a jerk. I just think it's absolutely the funniest thing ever.
Have I changed? I mean, I hope so. I do think I think I mixed up 2 and 3 actually, because one thing that when I was thinking of like things that changed me or whatever, because when you got Dr. Finlayson Fife on, and I reviewed those episodes, it turned me on to this person that I didn't know. And I had wished in post that I had investigated her more or whatever. I struggle with anytime somebody says, hey, go do this thing. It sort of like makes me go, well, now I don't want to do it because now it's not my idea anymore. And it doesn't feel as fresh
Organic.
and new or whatever. It was good to be introduced to her because now I follow her on social media or whatever and just get daily little reminders. And I imagine a lot of it because she talks to a lot more couples and who are more in a relationship and stuff like that. But truthfully, is there that much different? It seems to me that there's not a huge difference in the application of principles in a relationship and out of a relationship because so much of it seems to have to do with how you treat yourself.
Yeah,
And then that affects the relationship.
absolutely.
And so
What's
it's
that?
been kind of cool to learn and follow someone who knows what they're talking about. Not that we don't, but I mean, I don't, but I don't know.
Oh my
We get it
God.
right
I
sometimes.
don't know. Does anybody have a fidget spinner? I don't know.
That's very well put, Steve.
Yeah, it was fun.
Kristen.
Me? Okay, I'm next. I thought you were going clockwise here.
Oh,
so.
I just pick at random. There's no method to this.
I think that, well, and Nick sort of referenced it earlier, like in 2018, Kristen, you seemed so nervous to show up. And I certainly was. So I've been accused of, and I think it's accurate, that I'm like over prepared. Like I feel like, if I'm going to go talk, I got to have a whole script, like it's a movie script, and every line, and I just ran that way for a long time.
And it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad. It's very time consuming, but now I don't feel like I have to do that. Now I feel much more confident that I can just come in here and wing it a bit. I like to have some idea and be a little bit organized about topics and where I want to go with the topics, but it doesn't have to be fully scripted. And I trust and embrace the synergy that we can create together. And sometimes it's amazing and other times it's just okay. And it doesn't have to be absolutely amazing every time.
Yeah.
I sort of had felt that pressure to be amazing every single time. But the feedback that I get from people who are listening to the show, it doesn't matter. Like if the messages that we are talking about, the topics that we're sharing, the opinions that are given, the advice that is dispensed, even if it's lackluster, it's the right thing at the right time for someone. Right? It doesn't always have to be for me or for people that I'm thinking of for it to reach someone and be useful to them. I also feel like just more confident that people care about what I have to say and it's useful. I grew up as the youngest child. I have 5 older brothers. I was the only girl, and nobody listened to me. And I'm just that's the advice, or that's the perspective that I have on the world. I'm just kind of clawing and scraping, and my expectation is that I won't be heard. So I believe now that I'm heard, and that's a pretty big shift.
Yeah.
To make your worldview like that.
That's awesome.
So it's given me a lot more confidence that my experiences and my expertise, this is the one and only thing that I can do. I don't have other skills. I can't do math. I can't do anything else. But, one time I went to a Martina McBride concert in Wendover. Do you guys know Martina McBride?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
However,
She's my favorite. Anyway, she was on stage, just I'm so glad you guys are here because I can't do anything else. I can literally do nothing else. And I was
I can't do anything else.
I relate to that. This is the only thing I can do.
I
Awesome.
love that. Nick?
there's 2 things that are kind of connected. One, when we first started this, I don't want to say I was an overly serious person, but I kind of felt like, and you guys threw this hat on me real quick, the sage wisdom hat, that my value was based on giving good advice. And that's a lot of pressure when it's been 20 years since you were dating. But on top of that, I think there was a part of me at that time when we first started that was so serious about so many things. And spending time with Steve, going to his shows helped me. And I think I may mention this to him. It reminded me to laugh, that life is better when you laugh. And I think that they say laughter is the best medicine, but I think it's so much more than medicine. It's just entirely healing, but it's connecting. It's so many of those other things. And I probably wouldn't have had that exposure or influence without the show. And kind of connected to that too was, I mentioned the advice part, is remembering that I don't have all the answers and that I don't need to.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you listen to some of the early episodes, I was way more advice dispensing. And now it's sure it happens, but it's not the same way. And so I've noticed that change. So
Interesting.
I don't know if you guys see it that way, but I do.
No, I absolutely do. Not that you were ever uptight or anything, but you're very much more loosey-goosey now.
Yeah, my kids thought I was pretty uptight.
They probably still think you are.
Yeah,
As they should.
they probably good.
That's right.
I am uptight.
I am uptight.
Kids should think their parents are uptight. Am I right?
Yeah, that's the right way to be.
Uh-huh.
Loosey-goosey parents suck. I've seen those kids. They don't turn out.
For me, I don't know. I feel like I have so much fun doing this. And I really enjoy, even when I don't like dating, it's fun to go and do stuff just because I'm okay, I know I'm going to have something to talk about on the podcast. And hearing that it is helping other people still blows my mind. Anytime Kristen's oh, half my clientele comes from the podcast, I'm what are you talking about? I have 3 friends that listen to this podcast. that's it. That must be your clientele. So it does always surprise me a lot. But knowing that it has helped people, and even knowing that it just pushes people like in the direction that they can meet someone like Kristen, like that's something to me that I'm like, done. Love it.
All right, I think that was a bit of a cop-out answer.
What? What do you think?
So I think we need to make it a little harder on her.
Oh.
How have you seen Barbie change since the start of this podcast? You're the center of this podcast, so
I'm going to get
to
very uncomfortable. And okay, I have to tell this story really fast, though, because it was in December. And Steve, what were we talking about? But Steve he gave me the most genuine, sweet, I mean, it was the most loving compliment. And he was just, and it was like to me and our friend Kim, and he's just like, you guys deserve everything. And I mean, it was one of the most genuinely sweet things. And Kim and I were so uncomfortable because we don't take compliments. So we're both just there like, so I'm just like, oh, is it going to be that situation? I'm going to go outside. So, I mean, say wonderful things about me.
I'll start unless you got something.
No, you go.
I've noticed that your outlook on dating, it started at a certain level, and then I would argue that it kind of got very doom and gloomish for a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
But you've come back out of that, and I see that you are coming back out of it with more confidence in yourself, in your abilities, in ChatGPT, and in all sorts of other ways that I think will help you find the right person for you now.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would say I've seen your curiosity grow
Yeah.
significantly. And I feel like years and years ago, your knee-jerk reaction to things was to deflect.
Oh, yeah.
Like with humor or some sort of flamboyancy.
Yep.
And I don't see you doing that nearly as much as before.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
Steve?
I was thinking about this to go, how has Barbie changed over the years for this pod, especially specifically in relation. Anyways, I don't need to repeat the question. I'm stalling.
Steve, if you don't have anything to say, you don't need to say anything.
Just say pass.
No, well, it's interesting because I've seen Barbie. I've known Barbie for a long time. And when I first met her, you were organizing a lot of events, doing all these things. And I think to a degree, like some of that was for yourself, but a lot of it was for other people. I mean, it was, and now you kind of you play back a lot more than you used to.
Yeah.
That being said, you still are learning to appreciate just yourself. And I think sometimes people who are super social, sometimes it is more of a thing to be like, I'm doing this because I can't concentrate on myself.
Yeah.
And because I can't spend time with myself. And you've been able to be a lot more comfortable with yourself and spend time with yourself and grow from that aspect as well. I think that's a huge thing, actually.
Thank you. I will say personally, I have seen more changes in myself in the last 6 or 8 months than I have maybe in my whole life. Like, I'm much more comfortable with myself. I'm much more comfortable with just being at home enjoying my rent is one of my favorite things to say now. Like, I just like hanging out at my house and having my very close group of friends. And I don't feel the need to be friends with, I mean, I am friends with a lot of people, but like, I don't need to be at parties all the time and do all this stuff. I'm just like, nah, I'm just really happy right now.
And
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean to disparage anybody who is like, well, I am the organizer. And it's like,
Those are great things.
We
Our
absolutely
lives-
need those people.
Our
Absolutely.
lives ebb and flow,
Yeah.
right? There's a time and a season for us to be inwardly focused and externally focused, and time for us to provide service to the community, and time for us to be a little more self-caring.
It's kind of blown my mind a little bit because some of these things affect so many aspects of our lives. I think when you started the podcast, you were working for someone else and still designing wedding dresses and doing that.
Yeah.
But now you are your own brand, which is doing tremendously well. I mean, I don't know that you want numbers on the podcast, but when you told me them, I was kind of blown away, where it's like, wait, how much are you selling? And it's like,
Sell a lot of
that's
dresses.
just you. That's just all you. And I think that kind of is reflective of this internal work.
Thank you.
So it's pretty cool to see that. Like, physically represented.
Thanks. Now let's
So-
stop talking about that.
Oh, come on.
If anybody on the podcast is getting married, maybe go visit.
Just
Yeah.
Pick
Barbie
up
and
one of those-
bridal.
Yeah, there you go.
I can help you with the dress. Ain't
I've
that
gone
for sure?
on some of the photo shoots because I like to do photography. I only went on 2 because I
Yeah.
was friends with April, who's our friend who
Uh-huh.
does some photos for you and stuff.
Yep.
It was really cool.
It's so fun, right?
yeah.
I love
yeah.
my job. I'm
Some of
very
the best
It's
photos I've
really
ever taken
cool.
were up there. I didn't take photos of the brides because it felt like that would have been creepy, but I did take photos of the fall foliage.
He did.
Yeah.
He did indeed. Those were some good pictures.
They're
Well,
very
thanks,
pretty.
you guys.
Hmm.
Did you have any other? You said feedback
I've
from
got,
people.
I've got favorite moments.
'Kay,
from a few
let's hear it.
people. Okay, so one person told me that their favorite thing is just Barbie's dating stories, Barbie's crazy dating stories.
Yeah.
I actually got that several times. Like that's if I say, why do you listen? What is it that you're getting out of it? It's entertainment value
Yeah.
from hearing all the stories. A person today told me the episode we did on meaning making
Oh,
was very impactful. And
Oh, good.
Shortly after we did that show, I had a friend of mine who lives in Virginia, who just has been through a divorce in the last year, said that episode meant a lot to her and was
Wow.
exactly what she needed to hear.
Dang.
I should tell you guys these things. I feel
Yeah.
so bad that so people tell me during sessions, and then by the end of the session, it's like buried, and I should just be like, hold it. I got to put this in the group chat right now before I forget. Cause I get a lot of good feedback from clients who have moments of the shows that really matter.
That's awesome.
Somebody
that.
mentioned Sean Rapier before. Rapier?
Rapier.
So somebody texted this to me today. I fell in love with this podcast during the 3-episode streak with Sean Rapier back in 2019. His story about Betty had me rolling with laughter. All the guests have been amazing and full of great advice, but I am hooked on the heartfelt humor of this show brought by Barbie and the team. I love how they celebrate the hard parts of dating with lots of laughs, relatable dating struggles, and honest positivity.
That is so sweet.
I'll go on. Are you
No,
tearing up?
my
Okay.
eyes were like being weird. I promise I'm not crying. It
It's
did look
okay.
like I was.
She's
but
crying,
I'm really,
everybody at home. Barbie is a mess.
Barbie is a mess, anyways. But
Okay, some of the best advice I've picked up includes knowing when it's... Okay, hold on. This is very difficult for me to read, and I have glasses in here.
Kristen's crying too.
Okay, there we go.
So much emotion.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so much easier. Some of the best advice I've picked up includes knowing when it's cuffing season, how to survive first dates by asking better questions, discovering my authentic brand in 3 words for online profiles, and the legendary DAB, my favorite dating flex I always share with friends.
cute.
One more line. Barbie, Nick, Steve, and Kristen, congrats on the 100th episode.
Aw.
Aw.
Who wrote that? It feels like we know him.
Your
I
husband?
know.
You don't know her. You don't know her.
We don't.
That's so nice.
That's so
No,
crazy.
I know her, but you don't know her. Okay, you want to hear more?
Yes.
Let's just do this the rest of the time.
I know. Well, that's kind of what we'll do.
You know, I posted on Instagram, which is to say, at least posted on Instagram. Tell us what some of your favorite moments are. And you know what people said? Nothing, because nobody ever interacts with us on Instagram, which is so sad. So,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
okay. So when I asked, she said, "Oh, so many gems from Barbie Does Dating that I have notes on file." She says, "Hold on, I'm going to copy paste." And she said, "The standout for me is when you discussed Dr. Terry Orbach and said, 'Love is just not enough.' 2 individuals really need to be aligned on some of the things to have love and relationship last. When we're dating," this is new thought now, "when we're dating, we're looking to heal wounds and validate ourselves. We're trying to prove that we have value. But the ultimate point of dating," and she says in parentheses, there is a lot of detective work to be done on both sides, "is to discover." The purpose of dating is to discover. That was a big moment and takeaway. Lots of exclamation points and asterisks. The purpose of dating is to assess, not impress,
Okay.
right? Could this work? Could we align? Am I what you need? one of the main principles in Hold Me Tight, which if you don't know, that's a book by Dr. Sue Johnson, a game changer book for a lot of couples. The 3 key questions we need answered affirmatively in a partner are you there for me? Do I matter to you? Will you come when I call?
That's right. I remember those.
Remember when we talked about that?
Yep.
And she says, look for a partner who can say yes to all those things. And also we need to be all 3 to our partner. Not only do we need to get that, but we need to give that as well. What makes me a fan and continue to listen is the discussion with guests who have a variety of expertise and backgrounds, which offers new angles and deeper perspective on how to build and strengthen human connection, whether it's dating or marriage. And then Barbie and Kristen's raw humor and candid sharing of stories like Barbie's encounter with Hinge and when someone asking about dominant versus submissive sexual experiences. I burst out loud laughing when you said, I'll be the dominant and tell my husband to load the dishes and fold the laundry. That was a good moment.
It was.
So, yeah, I mean, some of this is helping and getting there and going places for people. So this has just been an honor and a privilege and just
Love it.
I got to walk into this already fully functioning thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so, so grateful.
We've loved having you. This has been great.
You guys have done an amazing job getting this, the continuity and getting this structure and the format off the ground.
That would all be a big thank you to Nick.
Let's do it for Nick. Right
Yeah, Nick.
now. Nick for making it happen. And to celebrate, I brought you guys a special treat back from my trip to South Dakota. These are Shack Faces fruit snacks.
Shut up.
Would you like
I
a
took
Shack
a photo
Face
of that at a rest stop the other day. It's
saw it
so
at
weirdly disturbing.
Family Dollar, and I was like, I'd never seen those before. I bet I'll never see them since.
That is amazing. That is the best
We'll
way to
post a
celebrate.
picture in the show
Yeah,
notes.
we're
They
gonna
are
need
so
to.
you
very
can see.
disturbing.
There's a pink and a blue and a red Shack Face fruit snack.
Oh my gosh. Did anybody have anything else they want to add about our 100th episode?
Well, I would like to say that in case people didn't know, the origin of this podcast was supposed to be you talking about your 100 date challenge.
Yeah.
And
I
sharing
had.
stories. If you go back through, you never talk
I
about
never
any
did,
of
huh?
them. And so I would love to consider hearing 1 or 2 of the
Let me go find my
experiences you have.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, I know you have a spreadsheet.
I just don't know where it is.
But I think it was quite an interesting social experiment to do what you did. And,
It was. It was exhausting, but it was fun.
well, yeah, there you go.
It was a
You
good
had a
time.
sense of adventure about it
Yeah.
that I think is part of something that people are missing.
Yeah.
Dating can be a great adventure.
I love that.
Tell us, listeners, more of what you want. We will do it.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We love
Topics,
to
questions.
ask and answer.
Yeah.
You tell us what you want, we'll make it happen.
We want to hear all of the things. You guys, thank you so much for listening. It really has been so much fun. Hopefully another 100 more. Nick's probably like, please don't make me do another 100 of these.
But we will.
Yeah, I've been on all but one.
For real?
The
Which
COVID,
one were you on?
the COVID one that you guys did on Zoom.
Yeah. That's right.
I don't
Man.
know why I wasn't on that one, but anyway, doesn't matter.
Well, we've got some new guests coming, including a surprise guest from Love on the Spectrum. We've made a connection, and we have a guest appearance coming soon.
We're very excited. It's going to be amazing. You guys, thank you so much for listening, and let's do it again sometime.